Hey, a couple of videos back, I did a little discussion about a game called Daggerdale and and kind of about dungeon crawlers in general. Um, not to be repeating myself too much on here and going on a rant about this again, but at the time, it seemed like there was a resurgence of this genre, dungeon crawlers that we hadn't seen in a while. That it looked like there was a lot of stuff coming out. Like I was even gonna do a blog post at some point, like year of the dungeon crawler question mark. Like, could this be it? Could this be a resurgence for those of us that like this kind of stuff? There was a lot to look forward to. I mean, back at the time, Daggerdale had just came out. There was Hunted Demon's Forge, Dungeon Siege 3. Um, Later this year, there's Lord of the Rings War in the North. That right there is more than we've gotten all this generation on Xbox or PlayStation 3, really. I mean, there's been Sacred 2, which was bad. And then stuff that I don't. It's like similar to the genre, but I'm thinking of like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, where it plays like a dungeon crawler, but it's just not the same to me. Anyways, though, it looks like my hopes have been dashed. Like it's not gonna happen. Daggerdale, it got a lot right. I really enjoyed it for the price that it was. It does have some troublesome bugs in it, and I don't think they ever fixed it, which is too bad. But I mean, for what it is, that's pretty good. It had cool loot. Where it would with like fire and ice effects and stuff on it. It had four-player co-op stuff like that. But then it's been downhill steadily since. Um, Hunted Demon's Forge. I thought it was pretty fun. The game didn't get great reviews. I thought it was fun. I talked about it on here. But really, that was not a dungeon crawler at all. It wasn't about loot. It didn't have the top down perspective that I like in that genre. Uh, it just wasn't. It didn't fit the category. It was kind of like an action game with RPG elements, light RPG elements. It really kind of played like Gears of War with like a focus on two-player co-op. So that wasn't what I was looking for. And then I put all my hope into Dungeon Siege 3, which came out this week. It's a dungeon crawler from the PC days, or back in Dungeon Siege 1 and 2. That's what it was, is a dungeon crawler from the PC. And an Obsidian, who didn't make the original ones, was making this one. I know a lot of people don't have much faith in Obsidian, but I really enjoyed Fallout New Vegas, so I was like, hey man, you don't get to see a lot of these games. Even if it's not the greatest thing ever. That's the same way I feel about Daggerdale. It's like, even if it's not the greatest thing ever, uh, when have we seen this last? PlayStation 2, GameCube, original PlayStation 2 and that stuff, original Xbox. So I was just like, I was totally on board with Dungeon Siege. I had it completely paid off. And then the reviews started rolling out, and it was getting good reviews, like generally, like 6, 7, 8. Good reviews for the genre. But it wasn't the scores so much that troubled me. It was the content in the reviews, which strangely a lot of critics just kind of brush over these things. But the things I read got me to cancel my pre-order. Um, so apparently, I don't have Dungeon Siege 3. I played the demo. I thought it was all right. I thought that the combat felt a little weird, a little slow. But I was like, hey, we got a dungeon crawler coming. We don't get to see this much. It's got online co-op. You know, great. Then you read in the reviews that, oh, only the host, when you're playing online, only the host gets to keep loot or experience. So why would I go play with someone else online if I don't get to keep anything? I just get to be like a side character and help them. Um, and then IGN's review pointed out that the loot's kind of boring. Most of it, like you get a new sword, but it looks kind of like the other sword. There's no real telling the difference between it. I've heard that you do get some stuff as it goes along that looks a little different, but it's few and far between. And this just, it absolutely boggles my mind. Um, I don't understand what Obsidian was thinking. It's like they took everything that's a no-brainer about the genre and said, let's not make the logical choice. Let's do something different. And not for any purpose. There's no reason to do this. Why are you going to have an online game? First of all, why are you going to have a game that's about loot, kind of, and have an online mode where you can't bring your character in and you don't get to keep anything? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, man. I'd love to see someone try to defend this because it's ridiculous. Um, the genre's simple. It's very simple. It's loot and playing with your buddies, killing monsters, collecting loot with your buddies, putting new gear on your character, leveling them up, giving them new weapons, giving them new armor. That's the entire genre. It's loot and multiplayer. And I don't get that. So I canceled my pre-order. I took the money that I had on that and something else, and I put it all on like all the games coming out this fall. Which that's a whole nother rant I could go on because there's nothing coming out for like the next 2 months, and then there's like 10 games coming out that I want. At least I'm gonna have to pass on some games. Um, and I did put money down on Lord of the Rings: War in the North. I'm a little worried about Lord of the Rings: War in the North. I saw it at PAX East. It wasn't a like graphical stunner. Now I don't care if it's a graphical stunner, but it's just one thing where you're like, why is this not up to snuff? Um, and the thing that worries me is it looks like kind of like the Lord of the Ring games, like Return of the King or the Two Towers, where it's just straightforward hack and slash, and it's not really a dungeon crawler per se. Um, but supposedly there is a lot of leveling of your character, and there is loot in the game. And as far as I know, it has three-player co-op that isn't totally fucking gimped. Um, the only thing, I just don't like that I like the top-down perspective. I like being above the camera, being above the characters. You're running around the dungeon. You can see everything that's going on. And it doesn't have that. This has a third person, like behind the shoulder type camera angle, and they Snowblind Studios says it just there is a lot of ranged weaponry in the game, and they think it works better from that perspective. I think it's a sign of the times that they I think they want to make a dungeon crawler, but they want it to have a shooter feel to it, and I think that's what they're going for to try to stay relevant. I'm not happy about that, but if the game has good loot, cool new armor and weapons and stuff that you could get, and you can play with your friends and keep what you get, that's fine. I'm on board. Um, I just truly don't understand what is wrong with this genre where one, you don't see much of it. I'm still I'm sure there's still a niche audience that's into it. I know people that are into it. It's not just me. And I just out of any genre, out of anything, dungeon crawler to me seems like the simplest type of game to get right. Even if it's mediocre, it's so easy to get it right though, to get what's right about the genre. Like I feel like if I knew how to program, I could make a dungeon crawler and enjoy playing it. Like I just feel like anybody could do this. Any developer could do this. High Voltage could do this. Anybody could do a dungeon crawler. And yet time and time again, you get these developers that when they do it, they don't do it right. Like I cannot believe Obsidian. Like I want to write them hate mail and be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I even did tweet at them like after I read the reviews. I was like, "Why would you make a dungeon crawler where only the host keeps experience and loot, and why would you have the loot all look the same?" you took the two things that the genre is about and you kind of stripped them out of the game. Like, I just don't get it. I'm going on a rant about it. I'm gonna keep repeating myself, but it's just it boggles my mind. I can't believe it. Hopefully, Lord of the Rings kind of gets it right, but it's still not gonna. For me, like it'll be close. If it's good, it'll be close to what I want. So at this point, I just there's nothing to buy for the next 2 months. I just finished up Alice Madness Returns, which by the way I loved. Um, I just finished up Duke Nukem Forever, which I didn't hate as much as most people did, but I could definitely see why people hate it. But there's nothing coming out. I've been waiting for Torchlight to go on sale on Steam, but or on Steam on Xbox Live, and finally I was just like, "There's nothing coming out," and it doesn't have multiplayer in it, but I heard it's really good, and it's a dungeon crawler. So I was like, "Screw it! You know what? $15. This will give me something to play for the next month or so." And I'll be honest, I like it a lot. I'm not a huge fan of certain things in it. Like I don't really dig the art style. It's kind of too cartoony, and I don't like how the camera angle is kind of fixed. Like you could zoom in and out, but you can't rotate. There's just little things. I don't like that you can't jump. I like the ability to jump. Basically, I want all my dungeon crawlers to be dungeon or Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. But I don't know. I mean, so I'm gonna play Torchlight. I'll have fun with that. Lord of the Rings, War in the North. It is Snowblind Studios. They did the Champions of Norath games, which were good. Uh, they were good dungeon crawlers. So hopefully that'll feel like one, even though it has a different camera angle. Other than that, then I guess I'll just wait for Torchlight 2 to come out on Xbox Live because that will have online multiplayer and that will be good. What I've played at Torchlight so far is a total orgy of loot. There's just so much loot. Like I have to keep going back to the merchants to sell all the stuff that I'm picking up. It's ridiculous. Um, and so that's awesome. I like that. It's really good. I just wish it would have online. I wish a few little things were different, but I could live with it. Um, so yeah, you got Torchlight 2 to look forward to. You got Lord of the Rings: War in the North. Other than that, I don't have a lot of faith in this genre. There is Diablo 3. That's the big one that's out there. Um, and I heard Diablo is great. I heard Diablo 1 and 2, especially 2, are great. Unfortunately, I just don't like to play games on the PC. So I guess I'm going to end this by saying I really hope, please, Blizzard and Activision, there's no reason Diablo 3 shouldn't be on the consoles. Put that on Xbox and PlayStation so the rest of us that are console gamers can enjoy it. You would be making me very, very happy. So that's my rant, a little rant on like what the state of dungeon crawlers today. Uh, I don't know what I'll talk about next on here, but I just got it. I had to get that little rant out. Anyway, you could of course always check out my blog on my IGN. Not that I update it much. I'm on Twitter and all that, and do me a favor and check out Movie Dudes and The Perfectly Sane Show, two podcasts that I'm on that are both available on vagary.tv and iTunes. So anyway, guys, thanks for listening. See you next time.